The song Redeemed by Big Daddy Wee from their album Love Come to Life. It's a beautiful ballad of a song. It's very piano driven. In fact, there's very little electric guitar in it, and there's no acoustic guitar. So what do we as guitar players do? For the lesson, what I did is in the music video, I added an acoustic guitar part. So it's just quietly, and it's meant to be played with all the other instruments. It's very sparse. It just comes in some rhythm parts. It's real simple, and it finds a nice spot in the mix so that if you play it along with a group of people, like your band, your church band or whatever, if you're playing this song, your part will fit in just fine and you won't get in the way of what the other instruments are doing. However, in the solo acoustic section, I did add all the voicings from the piano, some finger picking, so that if you are going to be the lead instrument, the acoustic guitar can really take that role. For electric guitar, you're basically just going to do some one-strum chords, same thing as what the acoustic guitar is doing in certain sections. You're just following that chord chart, being even more sparse, just kind of throwing in one chord at a time and letting them ring. So what I did is in the lesson, I added just bonus content for the lead guitar, where we take some of the string parts and put them to guitar so we can kind of fill in some of that space if we don't have a string section. Not everybody has strings, right? So the electric guitar can take some of that role. As well as there's a little part where there's like a glockenspiel or some kind of bells or something in there, and we'll take that part as well and put it on electric guitar. I wanted to respect the arrangement in the music video, so I didn't take those electric guitar parts and add them in. I just wanted it to be just like the album. But in the bonus cut section, we will go over some parts. So the song's capoed on the 4th fret, so go ahead and tune up, watch the music video, and let's get started. In this YouTube video, we're just going to be going over the solo acoustic section of the song. At worshipartistry.com, we have the full lesson. So there you'll find the full electric guitar lesson. You'll find a full acoustic guitar lesson. You'll find chord charts, tabs. You'll find chord diagrams. You'll find a music video. You can zoom in and watch either guitar, watch them both at the same time. You'll find practice loops for you to practice along with. And if you go there right now, you can register with this coupon code YouTube30, and you'll get a month absolutely free, and it'll give you full access to our entire song library, and you can really see what we're all about. All right, enough of me blabbing. Let's get on with the lesson. Now, the piano really drives this song, and we didn't want to get in the way with our other acoustic guitar part, but now when we play it by ourselves, we can really kind of bring in a lot of those voicings. So I'll play for you really quickly what I'm going to teach you, and then we'll walk through it. Real simple little finger picking part, and we want it to be nice and dynamic. So we're going to start out, our middle finger, we're just going to start with this G and then we'll focus more on our right hand. But we're going to start out, our middle finger is going to go on the 3rd fret of the E string. And then on our right hand, our thumb is going to be plucking the bass note. And then our pointer, middle, and ring are going to be plucking the D, G, and B. Now, if you don't know that much about finger picking, make sure you check out the finger picking lesson in the Guitar 101 section of your dashboard. But we're just going to be kind of hanging out there. And initially, we're just going to pluck our bass note, and then our G and B will get plucked together. So we'll go for that whole G chord, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then when it switches to the D, we actually just change our bass note. So we're actually not holding down any notes with our left hand, and our right hand, our thumb just jumps to the D string, and then our middle and ring finger just stay in the same spot. So we're going to go. So what ends up happening is when that little note change happens, we bring our pointer finger to the G, pluck that with our middle finger, and then do like a little pickup note with our pointer finger on the D, on the open D, before we change to that C chord. So once again, it's going to go like this. And then change it to the C. Now when we get to the C, we're going to do the same exact thing. The only difference is we're just going to change our bass note here. So our middle finger will be on the 3rd fret of the A, and we're going to still leave these other 3 strings open. And now our thumb is plucking the A string, but doing the same motion. So once again, just... And And this time, instead of changing to that open D string, we just stay there. So then we make the same change, and that launches us back into the chord. So all together, once again, it's going to go like this. So that's what I would do for the intro and that first verse. Now, when you can kind of start bringing a little bit of strumming, when you start changing around with those different, when the chord changes happen a little bit quicker, about halfway through that verse, when it says, and you look at this prisoner, right? So at that point, I'd still kind of just keep with real light strumming. And into our chorus, I am redeemed. And at that point, I would just kind of use a nice quiet, like in terms of dynamics, nice and quiet, but just using that basic strum pattern that you're using for the rest of the song. Now, when you get to verse 2, I would stick with the strumming, but what I would do is bring in that little note change whenever you can. So for example, when you get to that second verse, you can kind of stick with the strum pattern, but within the strum pattern, emphasize that note. So we'd go, all my life I have been called a failure. So we're still using those other voicings that we were using. Etc. You can just kind of fill those out. Finally, on that C chord at the very end of verse 2, I would bring in a little bit of a walk up, kind of mimicking what the strings are doing. So when you land on that C, you can kind of just bring in that 4th fret of your D string. Give you a cool little C chord there. And then lift it back up there. It gives the impression of like a little note climb there. So once again, it'll just be and I am redeemed. And then at that point, I would just go to the other chord voicings that we used on the acoustic guitar and just go to town on it. All right, so have some fun with that. You really want to make sure you pay attention to dynamics, make sure the song doesn't get too big too quickly. They really do a nice job in production of just letting the song build slowly, so when it gets to that end, you really feel it. I put the tabs as well as some practice loops below so you can practice along, really get up to speed and feel confident with it. Enjoy.